So in this video, I'm going to talk about the strategy that made me instantly profitable with ICT. This is a very simple strategy that doesn't require a lot of work from you, but it requires you to understand three key concepts. And in this video, I'm going to give you the tools needed for you to understand those concepts and be able to apply this strategy. This strategy not only made me profitable, but it also made me get multiple profit splits, not only from me, but also people in the community and from the most successful traders that I know, funded traders in fact. They all trade a very similar strategy. And so right now, let's jump onto the charts. I'm going to break the strategy down, and I'm also going to show you two trades that have totaled me almost 10R last week. So let's get into the charts and let's break down the trades, the strategy, and let me tell you the secrets of becoming a profitable trader in terms of edge. Let's get into it. So right now we are in the charts, and I want to show you exactly what I do in the markets every single day, every single week. Every time I forecast and I share it with the community, this is exactly what I do. When I am looking for the weekly bias, I understand that there is always going to be something called the power of three. The power of three means that a candle is always going to include two wicks and one body, because that is how a candle normally prints. But what people don't understand is that this already tells you a lot of what you need. And a lot of the people that I know that are profitable with ICT, they trade this. They trade one daily candle. They are not trying to predict what is going to happen in the next week in the market. They're not trying to predict what's going to happen in the next month, in the next quarter, because you only have to be right one day at a time, one trade at a time, because if you are able to do that consistently, you will become profitable. And so now, why do I say that this already tells you everything that you need? If we think about a candle is just price and time, and that is where everything comes in. So if this is a bearish candle, so let's write it here, then we can see the open and we can see the close. So that means that the day of this bearish candle started like this, so nothing. And that is where I draw a line. Why is that? Because this is going to be a perfect depiction of what I expect the market to do. It's going to be a perfect way of me to see, if I am bearish, what I can expect in the market. So this candle that would be on the daily, it simply would mean that we would expect a little bit of a manipulation up before the market starting to trend lower. And that's where you have the close. But look at how we still have a wick down here. So we still have a little bit of a push, and then we have the pullback. And this pullback would create this exact candle if this wick is a little bit higher towards here. So this type of price action is this exact bearish candle. And so looking at this, it might sound extremely simplistic, but this is what I trade. Notice how exactly here I already have an entry, this. Then if we have continuations, we also have entries here, or here, or here. And this is why I've stopped feeling FOMO in the market, because I've understood that I don't care if I miss the first trade, because there's going to be the second, there's going to be the third, and there's going to be the fourth. And this is why this strategy is so simple but yet effective. But where do we apply this? Well, this is applied not only in the weekly candle, but also on the daily candle and on the sessions. During the week, there is going to be manipulation and there is going to be expansion in the market. But that also happens during a session. And that is where everything that I'm currently talking about is going to apply. So let's move into the price. So as the market was approaching these lows, I noticed that the market not only swept this low, but it also tapped this extreme order block on the daily. And so these are my first indications that the market wants to move up. On the weekly, the exact same thing. I expect the market to close above this order block because I expect the market to move up in the coming weeks. But also, we swept the weekly low and we tapped the weekly order block. And so I went into a lower, higher time frame, which is the 12-hour, and I noticed we have this extreme 12-hour order block that the market is basically stopping at, which, by the way, in the community, we also traded and took profits at that low, which was amazing. But this is where my trades came up, because look at how all of these days we have market open, and market open. All of these days were bullish days. We have range during Asia, then manipulation during London, And then during New York, we start moving up. Same thing here. We have range, manipulation, move up, London session manipulation, and then New York expands bullish. Same thing on Friday, where we have open, range, manipulation during New York session, and then expansion after the news. And so the first simple entry that I took was actually right here. This was the first trade that I took. And now let's break down all of the reasons why. So we start off with criteria number 1, which is we have to be at a higher time frame PD array, which means a fair value gap or an order block. And that is where we are at right here. Then we wait for manipulation on the day. And what did we get? Manipulation right here. So this is already below the daily open. So this is already a bearish daily candle, but I'm expecting a bullish candle, right? And that is where criteria number 3 comes in, where we have to sweep highs or lows. And look at how we had equal lows here. They got swept and then they got reclaimed. Perfect. So that is number 3. Number 4 is we have to start seeing the market playing out in our favor, because this is still bearish in my mind. But I'm waiting for this first market shift. This is a market shift, moves lower. Second market shift confirms direction. But then because this trade was higher risk, I actually wait for the third market shift. And then I entered. I entered at the order block, which is where I recommend people entering. At an order block in the fair value gap would be even better. And then I executed and I just let the trade run, and the trade did what it wanted to do, moving towards the highs. But now you're asking, well, you said 10R, you didn't say 6R, which by the way, I took partials in the middle, so it wasn't full 6R. But this is where the next trade came in. The next trade was even cleaner because so many people inside of the community entered, which I was so happy to see. And let's break it down. So this next trade was entered on Friday. And on Friday, we had daily open, the market ranged, and then manipulated during New York. And this was news. You can see this is 1:30 p.m. news. But if we go onto the daily, my bias on the daily now is heavily bullish. Why? Because if you look at this, we got to the extreme PD array, we swept the low, and we flipped this daily fair value gap. So now I'm expecting the market to start moving higher. And so from there on, what am I looking for? I'm looking for manipulation. So I'm looking for the market to always move down and then proceed to move up. And so this is where we can see this extreme move down, moves towards the fair value gap, closes the fair value gap, and then retraces. But how did I enter? Well, look at this. The market came towards this 4-hour order block right here. If we go on the 1 hour, it becomes even cleaner, because then we have all of these order blocks that were just tapped into during news. So now we have a higher time frame PD array, not only on the daily, but we also have it on the 4 hour. We have manipulation on the day. We have news manipulation. And that's when I start executing, because if we go onto the lower time frames, we can see that the market started respecting bullish order flow, right? And this right here was where I started executing. And my execution was based on the 1 minute, but this execution could have been done on the 5 minute, because after we see all of this happening, we can also see how this order block was respected. And so I came into the 1 minute and I was reading price as it was happening, because this is something that I also do when it's NFP, CPI, and etc. for the community, which is just reading price. And what did I see? Well, we have sweep, move up, moves lower. It respects this order block. But look at what happened right after. We respect this inverted fair value gap and we start moving higher. And then I executed on this trade with a 13 pip stop, because I understood that if the market disrespects this order block and this fair value gap, that the market is probably going to go towards the lows. We moved directly, but then we had a little bit of drawdown, but then eventually the market played out in our favor with the target at the highs of a 1 to 3. And if we go towards the highs, a 1 to 4. But as you can see, all of these trades were based on the exact same thing, having a clear daily bias, the market reaching a higher time frame PD array, having manipulation on the day, then the market shifting, showing us, okay, now I finally want to move bullish in these scenarios, and then executing on a fair value gap and an order block. It can only be an order block, but I prefer it when it's a fair value gap paired with an order block. that's where the highest probability conditions are. And this is basically it. It looks very simple. It looks so simplistic the way that you look at the market. Oh, I just look at the daily candle and I trade a market shift after the manipulation. Yes, that's how simple trading can get. But you need to understand this better than anyone else. You need to understand market manipulation. You need to understand the pairs that you are trading. And so this is how we trade at the Simple Trading Edge, which you can also check the link in the description. But this is it. This is what I've done ever since I started learning from ICT. This is what I did to become instantly profitable with ICT. Not only myself, but other ICT traders too. This is what 90% of them trade. So if you want the chance to win a challenge account, let me know the checklist that I've given to you down in the comments, and you have to have this emoji right here. And if I notice through the comment that you were paying attention to what I said in the video, then I'm going to reach out to you and personally give you a challenge account. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This was the strategy that made me instantly profitable with ICT. Let me know if you want me to do this with futures trading, which is a little bit more advanced, and I hope to see you soon. Peace.